Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Cicero Planning Board meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Jimmy, would you lead us out, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business is the approval of the April 2nd minutes. Any questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And do we have a second?
Second,
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Ms. Scanlon,
yes,
Mr. Wilkie,
Yes.
and I vote yes, minutes have been approved. The next item is public hearing. If there's anybody that would like to address the board on any active application, you may do so now. Given nobody's approach, we'll close the public input and move on to the first agenda item. This is for a proposed roofing company at 6341 Island Road. Welcome.
Good evening, Pat Reynolds with I and Using Roads Land Surveying. Before I start, does everybody have a copy of the map? Anybody need a copy?
You got small ones?
Yeah, I guess.
We'll take small ones. I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got you.
All right, so as I said, Pat Reynolds with I and Using Roads Land Surveying. Here to represent this application at 6341 Island Road. This is a site that I would imagine that you're all somewhat familiar with. We have a previous site plan that had been approved on December 7th, 2023. At that time, we went through and constructed the features that we're proposing on that site plan. And then now the property owner has a company that's interested in leasing this property. That company is Stellar Roofing. They are a commercial. They are a company that specializes in commercial and residential roofing, and that they also offer gutter, siding, windows, doors, and installations. This would be their first location in the Syracuse area. As I said, we already had a site plan that approved back in 2023. On that site plan, we were proposing this 6,200 square foot building with the 7 parking spaces that we show out front. For this proposed use, we're proposing a dumpster enclosure out back, as well as 10 striped employee parking spaces on the side of the building. For use, Stellar Roofing, they are looking at having 4 to 5 office staff. And then with that, they're gonna have 4 to 6 project managers. Then they're gonna have 6 to 10 sales reps, which are working remotely. What we're looking at on average at any given time would be about 10 employees on site, with a maximum number being 21. The sales reps really only show up on site for meetings, and that would be on rare occasions. The 4 to 5 project managers that we're gonna have, they just come out to the site at the beginning of the day, get maybe whatever equipment, head out to the site. Before that, in the gravel area out back, we're showing that we can fit 14 additional parking spaces for employees. Those would not be striped. We're also showing that we can fit 6 spaces for company vehicles, and those would not be striped as well. Just want to show that we had the room for that out there. If it should arise that they have the maximum of 21 employees on site. With the site plan, as I mentioned, we got the 10 employee spaces that we're proposing that are striped. We have the dumpster enclosure that we're proposing. We're also proposing two signs for this. We're gonna have a 30 square foot wall mounted sign on the front of the building. And then a 42 square foot internally lit freestanding sign out front. We're not proposing any changes to the building. We're not proposing any grade changes. Not proposing any new landscaping, and we're not proposing any new utilities. That's,
All right, we'll open it up to questions. Jim,
I'm good.
Chuck?
I must say that's one of the nicest looking, commercial setups that we have around. Yeah, nice to have. I'm curious where the Stella, where would have they been located before? This is their first one this way.
So, Western New York, yeah, I
Okay.
believe they were based out of Rochester. They got some offices, through the Finger Lakes and heading out towards Buffalo.
Okay,
And as I said, this would kind of be their first, pushing out eastward.
nice. And, I didn't see it in the, description their hours. Are they open 7 days a week, 6 days a week?
Yep, well, Monday through Friday, this site will be open and you're looking, 8 to 5 for the office workers.
Okay.
And then 7 to 5 for what they're calling the warehouse out back. The way it works is, for their project managers, they would essentially be your job site foreman.
Mhm.
And then you would have however many laborers working under them. Those laborers wouldn't be on the site. So if they have an established job site at somebody's house, something like that, there might be the weekend hour, I would imagine, if they've got to get something done. But as far as coming to the site, it's gonna be, Monday through Friday.
So I take it they have upwards of half a dozen jobs going at one time.
I would imagine
Hopefully.
they could be, yeah, if they have that many project managers, and then I don't even know if project managers
Sure. I'm
could
just,
oversee 2 different jobs at once.
sure, I'm just thinking the, job, trucking their rigs. I assume they'll be parking here in the evenings when the jobs are done.
So right now, their goal is gonna be to have 3 to 5 pickup trucks out of this site. They're looking at 1 larger box van and then, like a 16-foot enclosed trailer. That would kind of be their goal. Starting out, you're probably gonna see 3 to 5 pickup trucks. And then, materials get shipped to the site, the job site.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mary?
Just to add to what, was previously said, the employees would come there and leave their vehicles there and take a company vehicle to the site. Is that what it is? Some of the employees?
So I don't
You don't know the.
have the
logistics on
clarification
that?
on that.
Okay,
So when I went through the site plan, I was figuring on the employee vehicle, the company vehicles were gonna be left there overnight.
okay.
I will get,
And no,
clarification on that.
would, customers come to the site?
So
Or-
they rarely come to the site. Most of the business is done through the sales reps. But they're not going to turn anybody away if somebody saw the place and wanted to stop in and inquire. They'll conduct business like that, but they try to encourage it through the sales reps.
It's a very nice looking building. I don't have any more questions.
Thank you, Zach.
Question about the proposed dumpster enclosure. That's just gonna be trash generated by the office, correct?
Again, I don't have the answer to that. They're not going to be bringing construction debris back from the job sites in large quantities.
Okay, could you,
I will get clarification.
no, yeah, that's okay. you did mention they do gutters. I guess my question is, I'm just trying to make sure there's not gonna be a pile of old gutters to be recycled. We got a couple businesses that like to pile up their aluminum and then they'll take it all at once, but as long as that's not gonna be done here, that's fine.
So I did get an answer from them. They said there would be no outside storage of materials.
Okay.
But I will get clarification as far as, what they might be bringing back from the job sites as far as refuge.
Perfect. Besides that, I'm all set.
So you just answered one of my questions, the outdoor storage of materials, about equipment. Other than the trucks you mentioned, any equipment?
No.
Okay. The stone area in the back, was that approved during the original site plan? Do you know?
It was, I don't believe it was.
Steve is shaking his head no.
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
When I did a site visit, I pulled into the easement area, couldn't get very far back because there was a gate there, but it was questionable whether or not that stone was in condition for parking, so want to make sure that that is the case. And then when this was originally approved, they did a zone change. And that zone change had restrictive covenants. And we received a letter from Mr. McDermott saying that the applicant is going to be applying to remove those covenants. Is that correct?
Yes, so it's my understanding that, Mr. McDermott had spoken with the town's attorney about removing the covenants, and it was suggested that we come through for site plan, see if we can get a conditional approval, and then we'll work through getting those covenants removed.
So when we did the restrictive covenants, when this board made a recommendation to the town board for those restrictive covenants, there were allowable uses within the industrial zone that we did not want to happen there. And that's why we requested that restrictive covenant.
Yep.
So I'm not sure you would be successful in just removing them.
So,
That would be my recommendation. The letter says removal.
okay. I can certainly, bring that back to the property owner, the, Mr. McDermott, and make sure, we're all on the same page, see if they're just looking for that modification as opposed to the removal.
Yeah, and I know Mr. McDermott was going out of town. That's why he's not here, so. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Do the plans, does it say anywhere that materials and equipment will not be stored on the exterior? If it doesn't, can you add it? Please?
Yep.
That's all I have for now. Michael? I'm good.
I don't have anything.
Yell anything at this point? Mark, I know you got a review.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
I did have a question. So
sure, go ahead.
The area is a mix of commercial, industrial, and residential. Will someone be living there then? Or is that
That's
just-
neighboring areas.
Oh, okay.
talking about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, this is a site plan continuation for a proposed remote ATM on Bartel Road. Welcome back.
So again, just for the record, Matthew Shecker with Thornton Engineering Design, here in the office, Project Transit America. You're here at the beginning of the year to review the application again. I know everyone's familiar with this project. What we've done since was add additional plantings for the board's comments. So just want to run that through the board so that we can just understand what we changed with the last iteration of the drawings. So we're proposing 8 planting beds throughout the site. 5 of the 8 planting beds will total 25 evergreen shrubs and clusters of 5. So there's 5 of the 8 planting beds will have evergreen shrubs totaling 25 and clusters of 5. The remaining 3 planting beds located at the entrance and then exit of the one-way drive-through will be a perennial mixture of grasses and flowering daylilies. And then just wanted to point out that we specified a seed mixture for the infiltration stormwater basin that we're proposing that kind of runs down the entire length of the drive-through. That is a mixture of grasses as well and flowering plants. Totaling about 15 to 20% of that mixture will be flowering, flowers, right? So we'll add some color and pop, not just to the main entrance and exit, but to that elongated drive aisle there as well. Kind of limited with the, specification for that just due to the plantings, or just due to the nature of that infiltration basin. We want to make sure that it has the correct species that are water tolerant so that it functions properly. It's essentially all the changes we've made. More than happy to run through the project in general or, answer any questions the board or the.
Okay. Yeah, we can just go with the questions. I don't think you need to run through the project. We've seen it.
Yeah, no, I figured that. Yeah, thank you.
Jim, any questions?
No.
Chuck,
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Mary?
No, I'm good too. Thank you for adding the
Yep.
extra plan.
So
Yeah, you did a nice job with the landscaping. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mike, anything?
Well said. I'm set. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I had a copy here, I'm gonna copy it to clerk, to make sure it's compliant when we get the statement.
Perfect. Thank you. Mark? I'll make a motion for our standard seeker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Ms. Scanlon,
Yes,
Mr. Wilkie?
yes,
I vote yes to the seeker. Neil, would you propose a motion for approval, please?
Fourteen point one, proposed remote ATM, for the following: one, color scheme and rendering vendor elevation is presented by the applicant to the planning board in regard to his application shall be incorporated by reference into the site plan and the board approval thereof. Accordingly, the actual project must substantially conform to the items presented herein. Two, the applicant has provided a copy of the cross-access parking easement to the planning board for approval. Planning board is going to indicate approval of the proposed easement. Relevant easement has not been filed with the county road plan first time. According to this approval is conditioned on the plan of that easement. The Nevada County Clerk's Office notice certificate of occupancy shall be issued without the applicant having provided proof of site.
And would somebody like to make that a motion?
I'll make that.
Do you have a second?
second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Ms. Scanlon,
Yes,
Mr. Wilkie?
yes.
And I vote yes. You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
thank
Have a
you.
good night. The next agenda item is continuation of the site plan for a proposed hardware store at 8379 Thompson Road. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Neil Zinsmeyer from Naparella Consulting. We are the site engineers for this project. Previously, the owner was here, his name was Clark Porter. I was not at that meeting and he could not make this meeting tonight, so we apologize for that. Certain ZINSMEYER. I want to make sure you folks have the most recent plan. We did make a late submittal Monday. That looks current. I have paper copies. You guys
I don't have it.
prefer?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Our response letter on to them.
Thank you.
Yep. And the changes that are on this plan here and up on the screen really come from Mark Perry's comments.
Thank you.
What I'll do. And I also have full size. You want?
No, I'm good.
I used to get full size.
No, I'm
So I have them.
Oh, that's for the, yeah, oh, that's some of the, yeah, it's good to me for you.
Briefly, what I'll do is recap Mark's comment letter for just a few items. I think I'm up to 5 or 6 here. With some taking from New York State DOT, so we're removing the 4 parking spaces that you see around the circle there. Because that's actually on New York State DOT property in partial, so we're gonna remove those and plant with grass following the state work. We're not gonna do that now, obviously, because the state's out there digging and ripping everything up. So that's noted on the plan. Actually, everything in the red bubbles you can see as well. Probably part of the hot ticket item was the pallets. If you happen to drive by the site after Thursday, that's what the site is intended to look like. Previously, there was some pallets stored towards Route 31. Those are all gone now. Everything's been moved to the back around the drive-through canopy. And we can still get a truck around there. It's pretty tight, but we thought, obviously, moving all the stock behind the building is best. And then again, allowing some of the display area up front along Thompson Road side. You saw there's wheelbarrows and some, sales type item for that. And we did reserve a little area on the north side of the building along 31 in the event he needs to store some more area along the sidewalk. It's not there now, but the reason for the amount of pallets that were there previously was a new store opening. He had a lot of inventory in, looking forward to spring sales. But after he was here, he heard the board, so we rearranged some things, which is what you'll see out there again today. And lighting plan, everything's going to stay the same. We did add some of the gooseneck lights you can see for the signs, which we also show proposed. We show one sign facing Thompson and one side facing Route 31. Mark had a comment about the stormwater. I walked the site myself on Friday. If you pan down or show the bottom of the screen there, there's a note. The outlet was semi-clogged with twigs and silt. Obviously, it probably hasn't been maintained in 25 years, whenever it was built. So they're working on clearing that out. And we had a note about the appearance of the building. He's going to power wash the building and touch up any trim work, not changing any color, not changing any facade or anything like that. The big question was probably about the drive-through. There's no intent to use the drive-through. He wants to keep it as is because it's there. He doesn't want to tear it down just for the sake of tearing it down. And honestly, there may be a use for it in the future. He'd mentioned maybe a delivery truck of some sort that he could park under there. And because he bought this building, the intent may be to sell it in the future if business doesn't survive, so to speak. I actually know the person he bought it from. He's a client from of us, and he intended to drive through there and wanted to keep it. This use is much better than what I saw from the developer he bought it from. I'm local here. I live in the neighborhood. I'm from Cicero originally. I drive by the site 6 times a day, or 6 times a week. I apologize. And it's even convenient for me to come here instead of fighting the South Bay Road Bridge. That's all closed now. It's a nightmare. This is a much better layout than what was proposed with the previous owner. I'm asking for site plan approval from the board. I'll certainly address any comments you may have. He's super anxious to open. As you can imagine, you can see the situation. He's fell behind on the due diligence. He accepted that. He bought it, thinking it was site ready for retail, and he kind of got bit. So I jumped in to try and smooth things over and speed this up if possible, because I am local. I drive by it all the time as well. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you folks may have.
Thank you. Jim?
Yeah, what is the plan in terms of lighting?
Site lighting is going to remain. The only thing we're adding are the goosenecks for the building signs that say ACE. And there's 3 on each sign. And you can see if you pan over and show the right side of the screen. There's 3 lights above each sign, but the site lights themselves will remain as is. I don't know if any of them need to be replaced or not, but there won't be any additional site lights. Or
Okay,
building lights other than egress purposes or sign lights.
That's the sign on the building as well as by the road.
There is no freestanding sign by the road.
There won't be.
There won't be, just building signs, for now anyways, from what the owner has told me. There's no freestanding sign on the application at this time.
And the sign that was there, the pole is laying there with the
Yes,
concrete, that's gonna be taken away, correct?
I asked the same question. The funny thing is, I have an email from New York State DOT. They own that sign. We offered to remove it, and legally they said we can't because they own it,
Why do they own the sign?
because they bought the property it used to sit on. When New York State
Oh,
DOT
Okay.
took that corner, they bought the sign. And it was the first thing I asked to again. I'm like, that sign's been there since November probably.
Yeah.
So I have an email and I can send it to the town. The state owns it. We reached out to the real estate department at New York State DOT. They said it's ours. You can't touch it. Unfortunately.
So
But with,
what does that mean? I mean, is it going?
Yeah.
well, it's gonna be removed, but we can't do it.
Charge 'em
I
right.
would gladly go do it myself.
I would think they would do it when they do the
Should-
roundabout.
would
But can you
probably
send
be a
us
lot
email?
faster
Is that
than
not-
Certainly,
state.
I will send you an email. It was between New York State DOT and the previous owner. It wasn't with the current owner, Clark, or myself, but it was, records from the fall of last year.
You know, Sachin?
Yeah.
Chuck?
Well, as I'm looking at this, drawing here, it's interesting, upper right there with the, information on the circle that they're planning on putting in there. I do hope it's bigger than, one out in Bridgeport.
It looks a lot bigger. It needs to be. I mean, that intersection, it's been a mess for years, accident wise.
Oh, sure. It's-
And New York State DOT provided that to me. I'm assuming it's current. It looks current because it's big. And that's why they had to take property from the corner to make it fit, especially the sidewalk there.
Will there still be an entrance off from 31 in the top left there?
Correct. The existing entrances stay the same location they're in. Really, the only change is they're adding the sidewalk through the 31 side. They end the sidewalk on the Thompson Road sign right at the driveway.
I think they should do very well there. We could use an extra hardware store as such.
It's a better use than what I saw was proposed by the previous owner.
Thank you.
So the existing drive-through, is that what's jutting out that little
On the
brown
s-
area?
Yeah, on the south side of the
Right
camp.
there? Okay.
The previous pharmacy
And it has a canopy over it,
has
and
canopy,
you're gonna leave the canopy,
correct.
and trucks can get by that, you're saying?
Yeah,
Like
we
if
see our
they-
truck circulation from our computer program is on there. And as well, the site as it is today, if you drove around back, the truck can make that because it has for its deliveries.
A tractor trailer
A tractor trailer
can make that,
because it
okay.
does today.
okay,
You know, when they dropped off all their regular stock, that's what they would do. They would park back there. They might even back up. There's a loading dock on the north west corner. They back up to that and then they circulate around.
okay.
I got a picture of
Oh, Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if the truck wouldn't fit, they wouldn't have the pallets there, obviously.
Right.
Because the trucks come like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning when they first open the building up. And nobody wants to be moving pallets that early in the morning.
Right.
The truck drivers won't like it. And they're scheduled deliveries as well. But the way that it's organized now, the truck can get around.
I am also excited about Ace Hardware opening in our town. We do need a hardware store, so I'm very happy that this is the proposed business for this site. And I don't have any other questions.
I'm all set. Thank you.
So the palace, so I was there, I got pictures, I should have sent them to you, so we could put them up. So I was there over the weekend. And what I see for pallets on site right now is not what I see on the plan.
See more out there?
Yeah, it says one row. But, I mean,
But, the backside, I think we noted
This is-
double stack, 2 pallet width.
this is where the drive-through is.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's the backside.
Right where the- We noted single rows on the north side and double rows on the south side behind the building. Is that what your picture shows, Mr. Chairman? Two rows?
Yeah.
3 rows just wouldn't fit with the trucks.
And so they're also out here. I'm just,
We can have them shuffle those around. I guess I didn't notice those.
would it be possible for him to create something over here for some of these pallets? There's just so much of it and it's not appealing.
We
I-
could if it's preferred.
It looked like something that was wetland, but I would prefer it. I really don't want any of it along the South Bay side. There's too much in the front. If you look at the pallets at the front door, they go right to here and there's very little space between here and the door.
We did know like a 4-foot, or actually right there, you see a note 5-foot clear. That's obviously for accessibility. We can peel that back though, if the board prefers.
That's the front door. That's it though.
But I mean, we can, on the south side, there is a curb and a grass area. If you prefer pallets to be stored on the grass.
I would prefer that. And fence it in with a vinyl fence. But I tell you what, Mark, what were your thoughts on the drive-through and removing it? Was it just aesthetics?
I think aesthetics and also, there's some columns there that stick out. And easier to navigate past that and so forth. But I mean, before we, from the understanding of the operation, they can get by there, so it's not, absolutely necessary, but from a static standpoint, and also just kind of clean that up and allowing for better access through there. That was the main reason.
I did note on the response letter to pick up where Mark left off. Some towns don't like drive-throughs because they're afraid it's going to get used for fast food or whatever. So in my response letter, Mark, I specifically asked if that drive-through, or responded, if that drive-through were ever to be used, we would come back and let the town know. So then we can plan accordingly for traffic flow, signage, that kind of thing. So that was our hope, to leave it for now, just because it's there and just for the storage. And then if ever were used for delivery vehicles or anything else, we would come back to the town.
Yeah, when I read Mark's review letter and he talked about the drive-through, from my perspective, I've never seen a hardware store with a drive-through. I bet you he's never had one.
But there isn't.
And I don't want to plan for what if might come here in the future. And for aesthetics and removing it kind of makes sense. But with that said, I'm willing to bend a little bit if we can do something with these pallets. I mean,
If you prefer them shown in a different location, we can certainly do that.
I would prefer them in that side lot fenced in. And cutting back on the ones that are out front. The ones that are stored, I mean, I understand you want to sell chairs and whatever out front and have some of them out front, but there's just too much.
Understood. The fence, certainly open to the idea the problem becomes access. Obviously, if they're on pallets, they need to have a forklift, pick them up.
Well, yeah, you
So
can
we
plan
have-
accordingly. You can have a gator.
Yeah, we'd have to arrange some sort of gate, a ramp where a forklift could get up on the curb. Would you be okay with just a screen fence, or are you talking a full enclosure?
Screen, I'm only one person, but I'm giving you my opinion. A screen fence is fine. We typically like a vinyl fence.
You say screen.
Not a chain fence.
You mean visible from the right of way, but not, you're talking about just one panel, or one side of
Yeah,
it.
one, 40-foot section, 60-foot section, whatever. I willing to go all on them. I'm just trying to blend, hiding it from the public view versus accessibility, for the pallets.
We're talking about, you want something in down in this area here.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, there is that curve there, so that. And if we're moving to that, probably have to, I would think at least stone it, right?
Can you go to the aerial, Mark? Google?
There certainly is enough grass area to put some on top
I
of
would think so.
that curve.
There are some cattail growing here, so
It's overgrown a little bit back there. I wouldn't go that far anyway. Somewhere in there, the stormwater management system begins with a berm.
yeah, and if we didn't have to mess with the trees here, it wouldn't interfere with the visibility from this house. Although I just think it would be better to get a bunch of those pallets out of where they are.
Yeah, and again, some of those pallets are due to the seasonal stock, so they're not gonna be there all the time. You probably saw.
Probably something different seasonal.
Uh,
Talking about different things. Not-
I think you can go further back from what
Yeah, I mean, so here's the cutout of the, on the site plan there.
yeah, it looks like,
So you're talking. I think you're talking about trying to do it back in this area here, right?
and then
well, it goes further back, Mark, that lot.
it
Are you
does,
talking
but
about all the way back here, or, I guess I'm.
Back in here.
Yeah,
that's-
and I think with.
some of the stormwaters,
I don't know how deep they can go
Based
Without
on,
clearing.
without getting into stormwater.
oh, yeah, obviously, yeah. That's why I'm not either. But it looked like there was a good high level, high area there.
and then the intent with the screening, would that? Could we just put a fence so it would block this view and not, 'cause really, this is the only place it's visible from Thompson Road. I would almost run a fence, north and south. It's a light pole sitting there.
Yeah, you got a light pole.
And then have the pallets along the curb, just so a forklift could stay on the pavement and just pull them off the curb, and then maybe 2 4-foot sections of fence or 2 8-foot sections of fence would screen it from some of this view that you're looking at here. You know, without going too crazy, further to the south in the back area. Because we're only talking 8, 10 pallets maybe. I'm just going off what I remember. It's not a whole lot, but we can certainly work with some sort of screening if that's what the board would like.
Would it,
I just don't want to see a full enclosure and a full ramp for a forklift. Try and minimize the impact of the site.
fine, take the drive-through down. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You got your forklift.
I'm joking. What are your thoughts?
That makes sense. From that angle, a couple of sections would block most, anything beyond that.
I mean, I could offer up vegetative screen too, if I kind of.
That's always
prefer
good.
that As a bright white vinyl fence.
That's always good.
Kind of reflect,
Yeah,
the board would entertain some evergreens, I'd be.
Sure.
Willing to compromise that instead of the vinyl fence. You'll have to give us some time for them to grow, obviously, but. And we can add some if the board sees fit later on.
I'm fine with it.
So it's outdoor storage of seasonal items. Is that what it is?
Correct, yeah.
It is a little overdone with all the pallets stacked up, but it would be, I think,
Agree, but again, we're trying to.
would be
best
nice to,
fit. And when I spoke with the owner, this is kind of the worst case. Again, he's starting up the business, getting as much inventory as he can. To have a promotional sale, so to speak, when he opens. Obviously, you're not gonna have soil year round, but you're not gonna have rock salt year round anyway, so there will be some trade-off here and there. But he indicated this layout is a worst case, but I'd be more than happy to show some on that grass area. With some,
yeah, if it could be shuffled
Oh.
around and screened somewhat.
So there will be pallets year round, but it's a lot worse right now, you're saying?
There will definitely be pallets year round, for stuff that, you know, they just can't have inside the building. But what you see out there is a worst case
Sure.
as far as the inventory.
Sure.
For springtime, everybody's anxious for springtime.
And working that front, when you look at the front entry,
The front
did you
entry,
see it, Mark?
I can certainly,
Yeah, I mean, I think garage design.
actually, if you go, if you go to the sign, if you show the right side of the screen. The sign plan, there are ladders if you zoom in on either one of them. Now, this was about a week and a half ago, so actually, never mind. He cleared some of it out when I took these pictures. But if you go there now, there's wheelbarrows, there's ladders locked up, that kind of stuff. At this time, that was just soil, I think, on the sidewalk. I have a note that says 5 foot on there, but I can make it move those, that's no problem.
Yeah, it's right by the door.
Yeah.
It can't be there.
Oh, yeah.
But again, so related to the storage in front of the building, there is a note on the plan that says it's supposed to be 5 foot clear. What you see just doesn't match what we show on the plan. One of his guys probably got a little anxious.
Drive through.
I put it in the response letter. Certainly.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And then the last thing I have, and Neil, I'll address this with you. You know, the trim is not nice looking. And so they've agreed to do the pressure washing. And it says replace, repair, or repaint as necessary, so that's kind of leaving it at their discretion. Yes.
No, and I don't know either. I don't know.
Mark, go to the South Bay side,
Wait,
the
I'd
north
I'd
side.
have to go out and look. I mean, that appears to be like an ephes type or drive it system, and those cornices are probably foam with stucco material over the top of it. You're saying they just need to be washed and they're or do they need to be repainted? You can look
That's
at
two
stuff that looks-
currents. They were still open.
And I know there has been some roof damage on the, if you're looking at the front from the Compton Road side.
So it's like staining. Is that what that is? It's kind of
So
mildew?
bad, but it's a lot worse. This was a while ago. And on the bottom brick.
And that was the intent of the power washing, to see what needs to be replaced. You know, he's a local hometown owner. He's gonna be on the site most of the times. If there's an issue with codes, I'm sure it would be addressed.
How old is the building?
All right.
That's in 25.
And then if we were up to that, we could say, and we could argue about, you know, whatever that meant, but I think you need something in there, maybe correct, probably something in there to give them some kind of standard.
As long as you're comfortable with that, I am.
No,
Maybe you could work on some language to better.
Yeah, I mean, could we put a note to call out code enforcement to look before, I know you're busy, I get it. Prior to or during?
I'll leave that up to the attorney and the board. But, I mean, if you're talking about restoring, right? I mean, that's really what you're doing is restoring the condition of the trim. Whether that means repair, repainting, or both. Looks to me from the photos, a lot of it probably just needs to be washed.
Now we can decide.
To the approval of the code enforcement,
Sure, you want to put that on my shoulders? Why not? That's okay.
or me.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, satisfactory, yeah. Yeah.
What they have to aim for here. What they have to aim for here is to get the thing to look.
Presentable.
Yeah, the little discolored areas faint.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't justified to what's there now.
I haven't really paid attention to that recently, so it's kind of just all mildewy, all black.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just has a bit, I mean, this building
But it's been vacant for a while. Yeah.
been
Yeah.
vacant for 3 or 4 years and it's been here for 25, I'm guessing. I don't have the original drawing, but I'm
Okay.
25 years. Which, you know, had minimum maintenance. But, and his intent is to make the building, you know, look presentable for his own business. He's not gonna change the color of the trim. He's not gonna, you know, wacky colors. He basically replace in kind as needed.
Yeah, question about the roundabout and this, the timing this is gonna be completed first, or what's the?
He'll be open before that, yeah.
He's ready to open. The one thing that I kind of stuck on the timing is the removal of those 4 parking spaces. Because the DOT has yet to put that sidewalk in. And then as Mark mentioned, the grade change is pretty steep there. So the state will probably have to come in and feather some of that out. And whatever they don't finish, will come in, take the pavement out and put grass down, curbing and grass, as noted there in the red bubble.
What's that?
Yeah.
Steve? anything?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Mark?
I'm good.
You gotta come back. Sorry.
Can be
I
put
know
on-
he's not gonna be happy.
Well, that's okay. Can it be put on the next agenda?
You gotta submit some information, assuming that happens in a timely manner, then absolutely.
Very much.
Here. See you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, this is for a site plan extension
Hmm.
for a proposed used auto retail store, a CarMax, for the property at 7687-7785 Frontage Road. It's been a while.
Best for last.
It's right.
Good afternoon. I'm Mitchell Visbar with Centerpoint. With me today is our civil engineer for the project, Eric Kenya. We're obviously requesting the site plan extension for the CarMax project located at the intersection of East Circle Drive and Frontage Road. The reason we haven't submitted for permits as of yet was there was some complications with finalizing the subdivision with the title company. So Eric recently got the subdivision approved in front of you all last December. CarMax wasn't able to close on the property until the subdivision was finalized. So that has since been resolved. CarMax went ahead and closed. We are working with our architects who are kicking off design, and we have full intention of submitting for permits and the demo permit and moving this project forward. Mitchell Visbar, which is B as in Victor, ISBARA.
So it was originally approved 2 years ago, right?
That's correct.
All right, any questions, Jim?
I was one of the 2 people who did not vote for this 2 years ago. But last year, when you sought the extension, I voted in favor because I figured it was the will of the group. I'm kind of perplexed why this is taking so long.
Sure. I mean, we could certainly provide more detail, but to summarize in essence, while we were going through the site plan review, the property owner actually changed in that time for the site. And it was kind of our understanding that the county recordation was slightly off about 10 to 15 feet. And so when we went to get the subdivision approved, which we just got in December, there was immense amount of back and forth between us and the sellers on what we were actually purchasing, because what was recorded with the county was actually an error slightly on their end by about 10 feet. And so it made the purchasing process a little difficult. And so it was a little out of our control. We personally would have liked to gone through it a lot sooner. Obviously, we did get an extension and the site plan approved quite a bit of time ago. But we would have liked to gone through it sooner, but we think it was out of our control.
Okay, so what you're saying now is everything has been cleared up and you can go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yep, we are currently working with our architect, Eric, and POH is the architect for CarMax. They're currently in design. We have started the demolition plan for the existing bank out there. I've spoke with one of the fire marshals. He might want to access that building prior to us submitting for demo permit. So we have full intention of moving forward. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was curious, one of the holdups back then was a question on easements. There was a few easements that had to be straightened out first, and has that been addressed and accomplished?
I'll let Eric take it. This is his route.
Yeah, those were all provided to the town prior to Mark signing the subdivision plan so that we could actually go file it. So that's all been addressed.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
That's all I have for now.
I don't really have any questions, but I'll be happy that this moves forward.
Dick?
All set. Thank you.
When would you expect a shovel in the ground?
Sorry, what was that?
When would you expect a shovel in the ground?
Shovel in the ground, I mean, that's a little contingent of how long permitting takes back and forth. Assuming, we submit probably within the next month or two, once design is finalized for the building and permitting takes 6 to 7 months. We probably plan to get the GC on board a month or two after that, and then
You're in for another extension.
It won't take 6 or 7 months.
No.
to review and approve a permit.
that was being
Yeah.
a little generous.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just throw out a timeline without
Yeah.
knowing the review.
And they just need to have a building permit and for the supplier.
That's correct.
We certainly don't want to go through the extension again. The intent with CarMax would be to start construction prior to having to come back here.
Mike,
I'm all set.
Steve,
Nothing,
Neil?
thank you.
Neil, do you make a motion for approval of the extension as requested?
Gotcha. Center Point Integrated Solutions, CarMax Auto Superstore Inc., 7687 7785 Clemens Road, proposed automotive.
And would somebody like to make the other motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes.
Ms. Scanlon,
Yes,
Mr. Wilkie,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Looking forward to it.
yeah,
We want to see it this time.
yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
thank you.
That concludes our agenda items. Any discussion from anybody on the team? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Do
Motion to adjourn.
we have a second?